Hello and welcome to what we hope will become a weekly fans panel here at Morecambe Football Club. My name's Glenn and I'm here with
Jimmy,
Dave
and Steve Downs.
And we're going to talk about the season so far and the prospects this week for the visit of Crawley Town in a table-topping clash here at the Globe Arena. Managers usually say at the start of the season, give us about 10 or 12 games before you make any assessment. We've not quite had that yet, but I think we've seen enough games so far that we can judge the start of Jim Bentley's revolution, as we're all calling it. Jim, turn to you first. Have we learned anything about the style of play that Jim's adopting that persuades you is different from last season at all?
yeah, I think his attitude seeps right through and it's more attacking. So it's putting other teams on the back foot straight away, which I feel is giving us the advantage, and it's starting to reap benefits straight away.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of the same faces as we had last season. Do you think any of them are playing differently, or do you think it's the influx of new players that are coming in that's affecting that, or is it all about Jim and the backroom staff?
No, I think the confidence has got to do with the guys that were already here a lot more, and obviously the guys that have come in have helped. So the positivity has gone all around, and I feel that's what's benefiting everybody.
Okay, Dave. Of the players that he brought in, which have particularly caught your eye this season in the first few games that we've seen?
Well, I think they've all made an impact. The ones that have impressed me most have been Alessandra, his first touch is absolutely superb. Reedy is improving game on game for me. I thought it started a little bit tentatively, passing the ball sideways, backwards, but it seems to be going more at the defenders now, and long may it continue.
Steve, what about you? Any players particularly caught your eye, particularly the new lads who've come in?
I think Fenton, to be truthful, he's come in, he's got tremendous experience. Some may say it lacks a bit of pace, but he reads the game fantastically well, and he's helped McCready. He brought on McCready as well, the pair of them to each other. And what's pleasing for me is they're putting lines on the bodies on the net, they're just there for every tackle that they're there. Want to win that ball no matter what, whereas perhaps last season didn't happen.
Yeah.
And Jim, Dave's mentioned Alessandra, not started a lot of games in the season so far. Can you see a place for him in the big game against Crawley on Saturday?
Yeah, I can actually. I think they're an attacking team. They're going to come at us, so he wants someone with pace as well to exploit it at the back. And I think he'll do that. He can link well with our forwards, and he can do damage.
What do you think he maybe brings different to the side that we've not got there at the moment? We've played pretty consistently Danny Carlton and Jevons from the starting games at least, although Alessandra's got a sniff later on. What do you think he might bring differently that we've not got at the moment?
I think he can exploit that space a little bit more. And sometimes as a defender, they leave him. And then next thing, bang, he's there. And he can hit a ball as well.
Another player we've not mentioned who Jim brought in, and I think there was one or two eyebrows raised when he did sign him, was Kevin Ellison. Knocking on a bit, we know that. He wasn't first choice at the last couple of clubs he's been at. He was on loan at Bradford and he was at Rotherham. I think that before the start of the season, Jim said that he was going to bring one or two players into the side who people might just have a little bit of a doubt, but they were there not just for the playing abilities, but also for the character and the impression that they make on the younger players in the dressing room. But what have you thought about his performances on the pitch, particularly, Dave?
Yeah, well, he certainly made an impact anyway. He can, in every sense of the word. He's put himself about, scored some spectacular goals. Yeah, he's done well. It's going to be interesting, the team selection for Saturday. Who's going to put up front? Crawley are without one or two defenders, aren't they? I know they've signed that Griffiths from Peterborough today. He's a good lad. But they've got a couple of defenders out, so it'll be interesting. I think the best way to go in this game is definitely to go for it and attack them.
And Steve, of the players who were there, we've talked a lot now about the new players who Jim's brought in. Of the players who were there last season, are there any that have particularly impressed you as playing better this season under Jim?
You could argue all of them, to be fair to them, that I don't know, the camaraderie, the spirit, they just look happy. They seem to bounce on the pitch. They just seem to be everywhere all the time, just want to help each other. There doesn't look any negatives out there. They're all bouncing happy, like a happy ship again. which we missed last season.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, we've spoken a lot about the team bonding exercises and that sort of. So we saw them on North West tonight this week, going treading for fluke out in the bay and all that sort of stuff. Is that something that you think is important in a squad, Jim, or
Yeah,
is it overplayed, that kind of thing?
No, I think it's underplayed sometimes. I really do think that team building is the best way. You're in thick and thin together when you're on that pitch, so you might as well be bonding in every possibility. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, he was on Bay Radio, it was either today or yesterday with Jim, and he said something which I've thought quite a bit this season and last season. There's not really standout teams either end of it. I don't think there's a really poor side in the division, and from what I've seen so far, although on paper the likes of Crawley and Bristol Rovers have got strong teams and strong squads, there's nobody who, you know, we're hearing from other fans are sort of saying this is the team. You know, I mean, previously we've had Peterborough up there, we've had Notts County up there, and from the start of the season you were thinking these are going to be the ones to beat. So he was on about sort of percentages and how every team can beat each other. So it's about the team that's going to be most consistent. I mean, is that something that you think will be important for us this season, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. I know Dario Gradi today was quoted as saying that he thinks the league this season is a lot stronger. And that's it, yeah. Jim's mentioned this quite a few times about everybody taking points off everybody. And we're in pole position in the sense that we've got points on the board. Once you've got that start, it's so vital that. I mean, we found that last season, didn't we? When we had such a poor start. But yeah,
I agree that. I think teams like Accrington have done that over recent seasons. We know they're not the best team in the league, they're not the worst team in the league, but they seem to have a consistency of performance week in, week out. That means if you're playing a team that's not on their game, even though they might on paper be a better team than you, over a season you're going to pick up a percentage of points against teams who are up and down. And I think we've maybe been up and down, although, you know, barring last season, we performed reasonably well, but I just get the sense that there's that consistency of performance about over these first few games. You know, it's a long season and we may see things fluctuate up and down, but I like the organisation that we've got. We look as though we build a nice platform for the strikers to perform, and like I say, everybody's on the game. We're picking up the second ball pretty well, which I don't think we've done well enough in previous seasons. That's all about attitude and commitment and being alert, and I like that Jim brought to the team.
Oh, I'd say 5-0 defeat Saturday, isn't it? Guaranteed now.
I mean, looking ahead to Saturday and the Crawley game, you know, it is a top of the table clash at this early stage. How the teams end up at the end of the season, nobody knows. And on paper, you would have to say that Crawley have cherry-picked a lot of good players and they look a strong side. But I mean, are you confident going into Saturday's game, Steve?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're obviously in a roll because they've not lost many games in 20, 25, whatever. So there must be a confident side. But you have to look at your own players, don't you? You have to believe in your own players, and I think we've got to be positive in any game we're going to. We've shown that we're capable. We've defended very well. We're not conceding an awful lot of goals. As I said, put the bodies on the line. 2 lads at the back, all over. I'm confident. It's very hard to see whether the game's going to pan out, but yeah, I think we'll win a game. Result, it's hard to say, but no, I think we'll perform.
Have you been impressed, Jim, by the fitness of the team? And I know Jim sort of introduced different training regimes and you know, more sort of emphasis on fitness. Do you think that's showing through in games so far?
It certainly is. Yeah. The benefiting, unbelievable. I remember Gary saying he was going home and he was that knackered at night. He was going to sleep, and that was it. And so, yeah, it's paying dividends now. Because I've seen us in the past where we started to blow a little bit the last 15 minutes. But now they just keep the engines keep going, and that it's proof's in the pudding now. Good start early on.
Well, we're all in a confident mood going into the game on Saturday. Hope we can get a better crowd. I mean, it was nice to see a good crowd here for the Bradford game. All right, there was 1,600 for Bradford, but I think there was about 2,400 for Morecambe, which is an increase. Hope we can get another good crowd on Saturday, and everybody's looking at it positively, which is always a good thing. There's a bit of a buzz about, isn't there?
Certainly
is, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. We're just off now. We're going to go treading for kebabs for our supper, I think, out on the on Westgate somewhere.
Followed by a training session. Heavy.
Yeah, heavy training session. Hope you've enjoyed that. We hope to make this a weekly event. Few different faces would be nice if anybody wants to volunteer. If they go on Shrimpsvoices, they can put the names forward to Mark, and he'll sort out a little rota. We'll alternate the nights, try and make them, you know, times that are convenient for other people. But we hope we've enjoyed that, and we'll see you next week.